Hi, I'm Teslin, and I lead digital marketing and fundraising initiatives for nonprofit clients here at Stephen Thomas, your host for Digital Leap. I've been a digital marketer since the first internet boom, fresh out of grad school as valuations were high and venture capital funding was flush, so similar to the situation we find ourselves in today. I've worked for an internet ad tech startup. I spent 5 years at FedEx Canada building online applications and digital campaigns. I helped a few highly specialized healthcare companies here in Canada expand their digital footprint. And for over 10 years, most importantly, I worked with a wide range of nonprofit organizations, big and small, in Canada and the US. And together we've launched online symbolic giving catalogs, monthly and legacy giving campaigns, countless numbers of email campaigns, so much email, social media campaigns, virtual peer-to-peer events, and so much more. So I'm really excited to be talking to you today. Conferences like Digital Leap do give us a chance to take a breath and reflect on what's been a tumultuous, unpredictable year with changes happening at warp speed. I hope you'll stick with me as I reflect on some of the biggest trends in digital that have accelerated during this past COVID year and how you can help your nonprofit organization take advantage of these changes. I'll be covering a range of trends: AI in marketing and advertising technology, what the cookieless future means to us as nonprofits, how we can leverage the massive growth in e-commerce for our nonprofit brands, implications of the subscription economy on fundraising, video and audio, and finally, the rise of zero-click searches and how we as nonprofits must adapt. These are trends I think you really need to know about because they'll force you to rethink how you can create and deploy successful digital initiatives for your organizations, ones that are tailor-made for the post-pandemic world we're all soon about to enter. Please make a note of any questions you might have. I'll be doing a live interactive Q&A after my talk. So first up, AI. Artificial intelligence is evolving so rapidly, it's honestly making my head spin. There are now so many applications of AI in digital marketing and advertising. I'll focus on two of the more relevant ones for us as nonprofit marketers and fundraisers today, and they are chatbots and AI in online marketing and advertising. So chatbots are those little messaging boxes that you see on many websites today. They're a little different than a virtual assistant, which often require you to connect to a live agent. Instead, chatbots simulate real person interactions using either rule-based technology or AI, natural language processing, and machine learning, all of which help to optimize the chat interactions. Chatbots on your website can be useful for marketing and for client service. They have a number of benefits. For nonprofits, they can help us with lead generation, foster engagement with your brand, provide support both for donors and for those who use your organization's services. Here's a few specific examples. A chatbot on your website can help a client find a program registration form. A chatbot could direct a prospective donor to read the latest impact report or encourage them to complete an online donation by answering a simple question about tax receipts. There really are endless possibilities. And the key here is to build your chatbot to address some of the more common questions you get from donors and clients, or to address something like a low conversion rate on a particular web page. Messaging apps like Facebook Messenger and Slack, for example, are two of the biggest applications in the rules-based chatbot space. And both Facebook and Slack have APIs that allow you to integrate chatbots right on your website. In our everyday lives, we're so used to using text communications that using a chatbot is really not a stretch. Over 5 billion people around the world use messaging apps every day, according to HubSpot, and 60% of consumers prefer to use chatbots because they deliver quick answers to simple questions. Close to 60% of executives have said that chatbots brought significant ROI with minimal effort. That's according to Accenture. And giants like LinkedIn, Starbucks, British Airways, and eBay announced their own use of chatbots in 2020. So it's really not too late to start. Your Facebook page is a great place to actually get started. It has an integration for Instagram and an API, so you can add the Facebook Messenger chat function right to your website. So you open up your Facebook business page, you go to Messenger settings, and then chat plugin. And from there, you can explore and begin to build your chatbot. If you want a more robust option, Chat Fuel is something you can explore. It also integrates with the Facebook Messenger platform for ease of use. Mobile Monkey is another option. Okay, we're moving on to AI in digital marketing and advertising. There's a whole host of developments in the MarTech and AdTech spaces using robust cloud-based customer data platforms, or CDPs, as the foundation. And increasingly moving forward, data and having a really good data platform will be necessary for all of our digital marketing and fundraising activities. In marketing and advertising technology in particular, new AI technologies are enabling personalization of communications. You likely won't know that the engine behind the platform you're using is enriched with AI, but it is there. These advanced tools are now going beyond simply trigger-based emails or a welcome email series. They're moving on to things like goal-based marketing, customer and donor journey mapping, and hyper-personalization. And all of this means that we as nonprofit marketers can now put highly relevant communications in front of our audiences and our donors, no matter where they are along the donor journey. And this has the potential to boost online donor acquisition and stewardship. A really great resource for everyday marketers about AI is called the Marketing AI Institute. And I'd highly recommend digging around here along with ai.google as resources to start with when it comes to learning about AI and marketing, and really to get a better understanding of what's possible and what's coming. You can also explore some of the biggest players in marketing automation online. These are players like HubSpot, Marketo, and Salesforce. They all have great websites with lots of information that can give you a deeper understanding of what you can do. You can also dig around with the platform that you're using now to explore deeper tools that can help you expand your reach. HubSpot also has a free plan, so if you're interested in getting some practical experience at low risk, I'd encourage you to sign up and explore. Look, I acknowledge that budgets are super tight in the nonprofit world. At the same time, I think it's so important that we know what's possible in marketing and advertising technology. And let's be ready to leverage some of these technology trends so that we can accelerate our nonprofits' reach in fundraising growth online and create opportunities to do so proactively and in budget-friendly ways. So this really is a little bit of a lightning round of new technologies. I'm moving on to cookies now. Welcome to a world without third-party cookies. This is probably the biggest news to hit the digital advertising world, and we're still working out exactly how things are going to shake out. There has been increasing demand for privacy online. Google's upcoming cookie changes and Apple's new iOS 14.5 all have big implications for ad targeting, retargeting, and attribution tracking. Google has said that they will eliminate cookies, third-party cookies, from its Chrome browser sometime in 2022. And Apple has already shifted cookie permissions from websites and apps to the operating system level, which essentially render cookies useless unless you provide active consent. Facebook, obviously, there's a lot of implications for Facebook. They've issued notices on how the latest Apple iPhone update to iOS 14.5 will impact things like audience definition and attribution reporting. They've also said that Facebook and Instagram users who have downloaded the latest iOS update will effectively not be included in custom audiences moving forward. Google Analytics customers are being encouraged to migrate to GA4, which will reset how we analyze and track our Google ad campaigns and website traffic. So this is big, right? No more retargeting, lower custom audience populations potentially, a different set of analytics. How are we going to adapt? A world without third-party cookies is still something digital advertisers are trying to figure out. For us as nonprofits, I will say that there are a couple of things that we can do now to help mitigate any potential negative impact for our digital advertising and marketing initiatives. And the first one is first-party data. First-party data is data that you collect directly from your audience base with permission. It can include people who sign up to your email list, join a community, sign a petition, donate to you, etc. All of these individuals for whom you have contact information comprise your first-party data universe. And first-party data will become a key driver for your digital advertising success in the post-cookie world. Big brands are also accelerating things like loyalty programs in order to demonstrate value for joining their brand communities so they can market to them directly. For us as nonprofits, now's the time to ramp up our email initiatives. Lead generation campaigns for email addresses, asking your direct mail donors for their email addresses, more prominent newsletter sign up button on your website. All of these things can help you grow your email database, which will expand your audience when it comes to your upcoming digital fundraising appeals and general communications. Contextual advertising or interest-based advertising is another area that will likely see a resurgence in the post-cookie world. Contextual advertising is when you place ads directly with publishers who have shared interests with your target audiences. So for example, if you're a women's health charity, you could place your ad directly with an online women's health magazine or a women's health blog. Or if you have a 10K or marathon event, for example, you're now reaching people directly on running blogs and online magazines. In Facebook, your audiences will be based on interests without any retargeting. I'm sure some of you are doing this kind of digital advertising already. Some of these things that were old are new again. There is going to be a little bit of an adjustment period in terms of how we figure things out, but just be aware that these changes are coming down the pipeline and do what you can now to be ready for those changes. We're moving on now. E-commerce. If you've been paying any attention to the business news this past pandemic year, growth in e-commerce sales has been a huge revenue driver for so many companies. Media in Canada reported that Canadian e-commerce spending grew a whopping 73% in 2020, and this doesn't include food or transportation. People who never shopped online were forced to go online for everything from groceries and school supplies to running shoes and cookware. Shopify had 110% year-over-year revenue growth, and it's the highest valued company on the Toronto Stock Exchange, beating out our banks and traditionally large oil companies. Even Google says that Canada is having its e-commerce moment. So why am I talking to you about e-commerce and the stock market? Because this growth in e-commerce is great news for online fundraisers like us. So how can you take advantage of this trend in the fundraising world? I honestly hope that this is the beginning of the comeback for the Symbolic Giving catalog. As I'm recording this, we're just a couple of weeks out from Mother's Day, and symbolic gift options from Sick Kids, Princess Margaret, and Doctors Without Borders have been flooding my Instagram feed. Facebook allows business pages, your nonprofit organization, to create stores right on their platforms. And this includes products you've placed in your Symbolic Giving catalog. E-commerce platforms like Shopify and Magento integrate seamlessly with the Facebook and Instagram shopping experiences. This is all exciting stuff, but when we're talking about e-commerce, we're also talking about payments and the checkout experience on both desktop and your mobile devices. In 2020, Blackbaud reported that 28% of all donations were from this little guy, your cell phone. So think about how you can add things like Apple Pay or GPay in addition to PayPal and credit cards as payment options. We've seen these types of payment options before. As a user, they're so helpful, especially when it comes to completing your transaction on a cell phone. So one-click payment options like these, like Apple Pay and GPay, will help reduce friction in your checkout process and can help make your mobile and website donation checkout processes even more successful. And you'll convert more people to them as well. Here we go again, another leap to the subscription economy. Netflix, coffee, wine, organic and local produce, Spotify, Adobe, Canva, Frank & Oak's monthly clothing subscription, plants, pizza, meal kits, Amazon Prime, Apple Plus, beauty boxes, dog toys, shaving supplies, book of the month, software, Peloton. Oh my gosh, I really could keep going. You get the picture. We've turned into a generation of subscription holders. Signing up and paying a monthly fee is something that has become normal for everybody, whether it's for streaming, for digital tools, food or product boxes. If we extend this changing behavior to the fundraising world, it means that monthly giving ought to be an easier sell than ever before. And the evidence is really mounting in favor of monthly giving. 49% of baby boomer and Gen X donors stated that they are already enrolled in a monthly giving program. And 52% of millennials have said that they would prefer to give monthly over a large one-time donation. Canada Helps has reported that the number of monthly donations on their online platform increased by a whopping 39% in 2020. So we know the benefits of monthly giving, right? It provides a predictable, consistent revenue stream and has high donor retention. Monthly donors have retention rates of 87% and 95%, according to leading monthly giving analyst, Erica Wasdorp, which is absolutely huge. So look, there's no time like the present to be focused on expanding your monthly giving program, and online is a really perfect place to start. There's so many things that you can test. You can optimize your donation page to put monthly giving first. You could try an online lead generation campaign, which is backed up with a telemarketing monthly appeal conversion ask. You could also create a direct to monthly online fundraising campaign. Maybe that's your next big Giving Tuesday idea coupled with a match. There are so many opportunities to be creative and to test slowly. I'd encourage you to explore how you can put monthly first in your upcoming digital campaigns. So you too can take advantage of the momentum we're seeing right now, fueled by the normalization of the subscription economy. We're moving on to the visual medium now, what we see and watch every day, video. So if you haven't gotten into video or your organization hasn't gotten into video in a big way yet, please get started. They can really help boost your performance online. Brands who use video get 41% more traffic than their competitors. People who see a product video are 85% more likely to complete their purchase. We can easily extend this thinking to marketing and fundraising. Videos can be a really great way to give people insight into what your organization is all about. Online video is having a moment too. YouTube has reported a massive spike in its ad revenue for the first quarter this year. It was up 49% year over year. And aside from the ad revenue increase, what's important to note is that video behavior is changing. People are increasingly watching YouTube on their TVs, and devices like Roku is making that easier than ever. Although I will say that at this particular moment in time, Roku's agreement with Google has expired and they've pulled YouTube from their channel lineup. Yikes. We'll see what happens with that. Over a quarter of YouTube users watched on their television screens. So how do we as nonprofits fit into this changing video landscape? With tight budgets, we need to make our investments in video go further. So I like to apply something called the rule of 4. And the rule of 4 allows you to take one video production idea and extend it to 4 different channels. So you could have a video highlighting a program area, for example, and this video could live on your website and also on YouTube in long form. You could turn that video into a video ad for a fundraising appeal, and then you could post shorter versions and teasers on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So this one video allows you to reach audience on 4 or more different platforms, and it's a great way to maximize reach. So the key here, of course, is to plan ahead, film once, include your variations, and then edit according to your plan. And this can really help you get the biggest bang for your investment. At ST, we've done some interesting work in video, developing custom direct response spots for both television and online video ads. And these ads can be long form, 30 minutes, or much shorter, 5 minutes, a minute, 30 seconds, and even 15 seconds to tell a story about your organization and encourage donations, especially monthly. Informational, educational, and how-to videos are great too. I'm a board member at an organization called Museum, and we're Toronto's Museum of History and Culture. We've recently launched a TikTok channel that gives interesting and compelling mini history lessons about the city of Toronto and its people. They don't have a huge following yet, but their views are in the tens of thousands. They have a really great one on Mr. Rogers and Mr. Dressup that you can check out. So I'm sure many of you are also familiar with tools like Canva and Adobe Spark to stitch together videos based on templates. So these are tools that allow you to create video really inexpensively. Please remember to use your own photography, not stock, of course, for quick rollout of everyday social media communications. I'd also encourage you to check out Vimeo Create and Envato for an incredible assortment of turnkey video templates. They really are a little bit of a step up. And I would encourage you to use video a little bit more in your everyday social media communications. They do have much higher levels of engagement and can really help develop a deeper connection with your brand. Also, moving forward for analytics, views count in tracking. So you're able to reach larger audiences when you're developing your audiences on Facebook and Instagram. Lastly, with respect to video, I want you to please remember to always include a call to action right in your video as well. And the calls to action get 4 times as many clicks as those in text. So that's huge. I'll also make a super brief mention here because we're talking about video of the growth in audio. And aside from podcasts, which I know some charities are using successfully, and podcast advertising, which can be very effective because you have a captive audience, audio-only chat rooms are growing in popularity. Twitter Spaces is competing with the original player in this space called Clubhouse, which is a new audio-based social media platform. If you haven't already, get on the wait list or try to score an invite if you're so lucky. So there's changes happening in the audio social media platform space as well. And I'd encourage you just to sort of keep an eye out in terms of what's coming down the pipeline. Just one more trend to round out my list. Stay with me. This one is all about zero-click searches. Close to 65% of Google searches last year were zero-click searches. So this news really rocked the digital marketing community. So think about it. 6 to 7 out of every 10 searches did not result in a click on the search results page. Why? Google searchers may refine their search, sure, but often and increasingly, people are finding their answers right on the Google search results page under things like featured snippets or the contact information on the right-hand side in the Google My Business pages call-out sections, and even navigating directly to an app. So all of this has real-world implications for us as nonprofits as we write content for our organization's websites. After all, we want people to see our brand and to visit our website, whether it's to access services or to learn more about our organization or to make a donation. So organic search results matter. We can't deny that. And because of these changes and evolution in zero-click searches, it's necessitating a rethink. FAQs are becoming increasingly important. And I say FAQs because they're often the things that show up in the featured snippet section on the Google search results page. And the featured snippet section is that section on the Google search results page that has the drop downs of questions and answers. I'm sure you've seen them. Second, keyword research will also be increasingly valuable, so you can rank higher in the organic search results page. Google Keyword Planner and Ubersuggest are 2 great tools you can use to help research and incorporate relevant search terms that are prominently used for your topics and for your nonprofit's work. So when you're writing your blog post, you're incorporating some of those keywords into the content so that you are ranking better on the Google search results page. Third, when we write for the web, we need to start using natural language. Conversational writing and content like FAQs and snippets will become even more important because they're easier for the AI behind these search engines to pull from when it comes to answering a question. And this trend will accelerate with voice search. Google, Siri, and Alexa are the big ones. It's certainly something to keep in mind moving forward. Okay, so that was a lot of ground we covered. And I've reached the end of my trends list. So now how can we as nonprofit marketing and fundraising professionals action some of these trends and put them to use for our own organizations without a lot of budget? I have 3 tips for you. Number 1, be curious about digital. Sign up for a new digital marketing or digital advertising blog. Read a magazine called Ad Age to see what the big brands are thinking about and how you can maybe adapt some of those trends for your nonprofit. Tune into the business news every now and again. Often with digital also, we learn by doing. So go hang out in TikTok. Start your own blog to get firsthand experience. There are so many low-code, no-code website builders out in the market now, like Squarespace and Webflow. Those are my two favorites. That put having your own website within your power, no matter your technical expertise. And all of this gives you a little bit of practical experience, so you're in a better position to offer more creative solutions when it comes to digital, and when you're using an agency or consultant to help you achieve your vision. The second thing that I'd like to propose is for you to add a digital innovation budget line item when you submit your budget during the next planning season at your nonprofit. So it doesn't have to be big. An innovation budget is something that is not tied to an ROI, and it's kind of like a sandbox. It can propel you to explore how new digital technologies and platforms can help your nonprofit without any fear of failure, because it's not tied to an ROI. If you're always worried about budgets and ROI, it means you'll be limited with what you can do when it comes to new technology. And new technology is coming at us fast and furious. So it behooves us to have a little bit of budget to play around and see what might be possible. So how can you use something like an innovation budget? Here's a few ideas. You can launch a small social media lead generation campaign. You can set aside some budget for Facebook advertising if you haven't done that before. You could use the innovation budget to build a small symbolic gift catalog on Shopify that you can then integrate with Facebook for the holiday giving season. You can sign up to a platform like HubSpot and test a small audience. The options are endless. And as long as they correspond to your organization's digital fundraising objectives, you could find yourself a big opportunity and a big idea from which to gain more supporters and raise more money than you thought possible. One of my clients took my advice for an innovation budget a few years ago. Halfway through their fiscal year, we proposed an online branded symbolic gift catalog. They loved the idea, and they used the innovation budget to implement it. They've since raised millions of dollars on that platform, and it's become a consistent part of their ongoing digital fundraising program. If they didn't have an innovation budget that wasn't tied to ROI, it's unlikely that they would have taken the plunge to test out what was then a new idea. The third idea that I have for you is take a risk, even a small one. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Digital is one of those areas where there aren't always guaranteed results out of the gate. And that's why a strong resolve to start small, to test and iterate, and then redeploy can really help you gain some traction. How many times has Elon Musk's SpaceX blown up a rocket? A lot, right? Now, we certainly don't have Elon Musk's budget or risk tolerance for that matter, but we have to be willing to try new things in the digital space, or really we'll be left in the dust. Friends, colleagues, this right here, right now, I think, is our moment as digital fundraisers. Let's seize the opportunities ahead of us and make a real go of it. It's been a delight preparing this webinar for you. I hope you learned a few things along the way, and feel free to connect with me here at ST on LinkedIn or Twitter at T_Somani. Thank you.